Welcome to Peak Talent, the podcast that explores what really makes the difference on a journey to success and high performance. I meet with leaders and athletes to discuss their leadership, lessons learned, and advice. I'm Dani Trudel, and my goal is to bring you insightful conversations that invite you to see your journey and leadership in a new light, while uncovering the secrets and contagious inspiration of surpassing yourself. In this episode, I'm thrilled to welcome Kate Arthur, a founder and trailblazer in AI, digital literacy, and now author. Kate is also an avid runner and a dedicated mother of 3 daughters. I wanted to have this exchange with her to explore the impact of AI on leadership, her unique leadership style, the insights behind her success, and her vision for the future. We'll begin with a brief introduction to AI, the challenges it presents, and what inspired her to write a book on the topic. Together, we'll try to uncover what it means to be leading in a world disrupted by AI. Kate is the co-founder of Comms Global, an organization empowering leaders to integrate AI and digital skills into their communities and workplaces. She's also the founder of Kids Code Jeunesse, now Digital Moment, a charity that has reached over 1 million youth globally, teaching them essential AI and digital skills in partnership with UNESCO. She is preparing the launch of her book for February 2025. Kate has over 25 years of experience in the tech space, communications, and leadership. She has a BA in English Literature from Concordia University and an executive MBA from McGill HEC Montréal. She has earned many accolades, such as Canada's Most Powerful Women Top 100, Visa Entrepreneur Innovation Leader of the Year, the Empowerment Leader of the Year Award, and 100 Entrepreneurs qui changent le monde. I've known Kate since 2019 through a coach, consultant, and client relationship, and I'm excited to share her journey and insights with you. Happy listening. Hello, Kate. Welcome to Peak Talent Podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here with you, Dani.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Kate Arthur, you're a trailblazer in AI, in digital literacy, and now an author. Let's start with a bit of an introduction to your work. So before diving into your journey, can you explain AI in simple terms, the challenges it presents, and why you felt compelled to write a book about it?
Yeah, artificial intelligence has been around for a long, long time, and it builds on the foundations of computing. And I've been in the tech space for 20, 25 years now, and, started in the space of computing. So when I started to become aware of what artificial intelligence was, this is about 2016, when the federal government here in Canada was starting to bring attention at the government level in government discussions. I realized that artificial intelligence really isn't something that is brand new and a surprise. What it is, it builds off the decades of computing and knowledge that we've been doing since the 1950s. And then what I wanted to do is to look at how does that fit into even the bigger picture of communication and connection and literacy. And so if you look back all the way to, the Inca Empire, and you can continue to go back, I focus on the Inca Empire because it's close to our family. Computing has always been around, but it hasn't been with, the machines that we know, but computing, mathematics, literacy has been part of us as human beings since forever. So I wanted to focus on that and tie things together. And I find when we link our lineage, our history, our generations together, whether personal or societal, it makes us feel more confident, and it helps us navigate the future of uncertainty easier. And so that's why I wanted to write the book, was sort of as a look, this isn't you. We've been here before. It is disruptive, absolutely. It's able to do things that we've not seen before, absolutely. But we've also seen this before. And what does that mean? And how can we each take our this information that I've put in the book, to hold our own agency and be able to make our own decisions on what we think AI is going to do in the future, and to have a voice in how we want to see that shape. And we can't have a voice unless we're literate in what it's all about. So that's sort of where all of this has come from, and I wanted to package this together.
And what do you think are the challenges that this presents to people in general?
Well, it's multifaceted, and it's one of the areas that is also brings a lot of interest in discussion. I think the most important thing that we need to be doing now is having conversations about
Mm,
the what artificial intelligence is, and what it can and what it can't do, and also what it's good at doing and what it's doing damage or not
mm,
good at doing. And we need to have those discussions because AI has impact on everything. You look everywhere now, it is having an impact. We are now in relationships with machines. We've never had that before. So what is the impact that AI has on our climate? What impact does AI have on our people, jobs? The disruption of the biases that these systems are building in the training and testing of data. It's very, very complex, multi-layered, and it doesn't take, it shouldn't just be in the hands of an AI researcher or a computer scientist, or, it really needs to bring the broad spectrum of discussion and diversity into that.
mm. That's fascinating. Now tell me, looking back, what got you to where you are? And so what brought you to that world of AI and digital literacy? And was there a pivotal moment or a key decision that shaped your journey?
Yeah, there've been a lot of those along the way. I'm a big believer in the connecting of the dots to move forward. And the more that we're listening to our environment, and we're listening to the signs that it's giving us, the easier it is to move forward. So I've always been a big believer in that. I had a job, one job in my whole my journey of 30 years, and that was at CBC Radio Canada, which I loved the job, but I realized that I needed to create my own job to be really happy, my own to be able to feel where I want to go. So my background is in English literature, so I have a natural love, and I went into that because I love literature, and I think the word is just so powerful. The pen is mightier than the sword is like an expression that we always had in our home. And so, the word and being able to communicate and manipulate and shape, discussion and opinion and views just through this, medium, this piece of data that we have in front of us. And so that allowed me to see the connection, in when it came to coding and computational thinking, which is another form of data and another form of communication and another form of shaping and connecting and telling our stories. And so that opened up that, and that my husband's a technologist, so he's in the space of that, so it opened that to me. And I realized how illiterate I was when I saw the power of code.
Mm,
And then AI is just a building on that. Again, it's the our digital world, the virtual world is built on lines of code. And this is new. We've only had the physical world. We've not had this digital world before. And that's built on lines of code. And now the data that we're feeding into this digital world, this virtual world, is where AI plays the big part, and starts to communicate with us and for us, and share, and play that role in this relationship of sender receiver. And I believe was entering into a fifth industrial revolution. So we're now moving into an even more disruptive space where AI is starting to um, um, manipulate our senses and mimic our senses and control that environment, which means that we now need to learn how to work with that. And it's so exciting. There's so much coming ahead, and but it all links to everything that's come from in the past.
I heard that you created your own job or your own career. And through everything you said, I kind of think about curiosity. So when you think about your path, what's your secret? What's the ingredient that helped you to have all the success that you've had so far, to found your company, to write your book, to influence so many people around the world?
Yeah, I don't look at it really through that lens. So thank you. That's very kind. Um, uh, Danny, I, I think curiosity is. I write about curiosity in my book as being an essential
Yeah.
ingredient to being human, is a sense of curiosity. We have it naturally as children, that sense of curiosity and play in us as children. Maybe I just never grew up. I feel every day now a sense of joy and, dancing and having fun and exploring. And um, I've never been shy of and saying a risk, it's never been risk. Externally, sometimes people think, "Oh my gosh, that's a big risk," but I don't feel it has been, because I think we put so much, we give so much power to society's structures and what's like supposed to be and what's not supposed to be. Um, and I haven't really felt that. Maybe it's, well, I'm sure it's because of the environment I grew up in, and we were all over the place, and I didn't really have the structured environment or anything to anchor to. Um, I hope I'm like that till I'm 100 years old. Should I be lucky enough to stick around that long?
Okay, so tell me, you haven't talked about leadership, but I can feel it through what you've been saying. How would you describe your leadership style? Are there specific experiences or challenges that you live that influenced it, or is it a question of your sense of purpose that drives it, or is it the contrary?
I have a strange relationship with the term leadership. It's never something that I wanted, and it's not something that I feel I'm natural at doing. I don't, I never set out to be a leader of anything. Um, so I struggle when I hear the word, because I don't feel, I guess what I do feel in like my role, and I feel so little in everything I go into. And when I started the charity and was going into tech space, I knew nothing about coding or computer science or fundraising. I mean, I'm always going into these environments so new and naive. And I think that's a blessing, but I also think that's a curse, because I am going into it so naive, and I don't think I'm a good leader when, or I can lead people who aren't comfortable in that space, because I don't know. I don't know what's coming next, and so that's hard to build a team who's going to follow, and unless you have the trust built in, and that legacy. I mean, maybe now I'm in my 50s, I feel like maybe I do have a little bit of a legacy because I've done stuff. But when I was younger, I was just really following my gut and my values. What I feel was, and I, very strongly feel my values. I have very firm ideas of what those are, and I don't allow those to be challenged. Oh, you can challenge them. I don't allow those to be compromised in any way.
Mm. So your gut and your values and your curiosity.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? When I entered the business world, and I did my MBA, and all these really interesting learning paths, and I was told once, there's no such thing as having instinct or gut. You can't measure it. And I said,
Mm,
doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I said, I do so much.
mm,
Even after my MBA, I follow my gut more than any spreadsheet or framework, much to the chagrin of many people around me. But I do feel that again, if you're listening to the signs and the shifts that are happening, and they're subtle, you can pick up on how people are feeling, where the next is going to be, and then how can I help us get to that next in a safe
Hmm.
and informed way, so that each of us has the the enough information to be able to make their own decisions. The last thing I want is to have to listen, for us all to have to listen to Elon Musk on whether he thinks the world's going to end or not. Like, we
Mm.
shouldn't be listening to, these individuals who we give so much power to. We should be able to make those decisions ourselves when
Hmm.
it's coming to such important discussions as, is our species going to continue or not? I mean, we
Mm.
should be able to have a conversation and have enough information in our own heads around what does that look like, and how is this being disrupted, and what can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Mm. So it's a leadership that also gives space to other people and to being challenged and to follow, what's out there, what's going on.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the best leaders I have I have found, I follow, and I listen to, are those who lift those around them,
Mm.
and you can tell they're just comfortable and confident in their own ability. And if you think you know everything, well, you got you got a surprise coming, and you can, again, feel when somebody is taking the power or the control so much, it starts to feel like such an insecurity,
Hmm.
that if you can't relinquish control, I think that's a problem,
Hmm.
and something that needs to be worked through internally. Um, my default has always been to hire people who are much better at what I'm not good at, and there are a
Hmm.
lot of things that I'm really bad at, and I that's, we're human beings, and my journey of, working and having 25 years into to working, I know what that I'm really bad at, and I'll immediately hire the people to do
Mm.
those things first, to support me, and then to learn, like, my gosh, how beautiful it is when you get people who are really good at their jobs,
Mm.
and to be able to learn.
Mm. That's great. So tell me, many leaders find inspiration and strength in their personal lives. I understand that you're an avid runner and also
Yes.
a hiker, I think, and you have a background in sports. So how has being active in sports or activities influenced your leadership or your approach to challenges?
Oh, well, the running is really my thing. So running, and then I bike, like, mountain biking. Um, and I used to play soccer when I was in the school systems. Um, I've but running is really my my meditation, the space that I go to when I really need grounding. And at the moment, I have a foot injury, and I'm not running, so it's
Mm.
been a couple of weeks. And this, for me, 20 years ago, the younger me would have continued running,
Mm.
where the older me realizes that my body's telling me I need to take a break. I need to allow my body to heal. It's okay. Do something else, but you need to heal, so it doesn't get worse. So it's taken me a long time to learn that lesson,
Mm.
that we we can push our bodies only so far until it starts to give us signs. And if we're not listening to those signs, it will break. And
Mm.
it's going to be a much longer road to heal, if it does break. So that's something I hold close. The other thing I've learned from running is, when you run marathons or in races, or even just running in the mountain, and there are lots of runners, is you got to find your own pace.
Mm.
And so when you're running in groups of people, it's natural to want to keep up, or
Yeah.
to be and I'm very, very competitive. So to be the first, to be up front. And another that's been a real lesson for me is find my pace,
Mm.
find my cadence, and I've got to listen to that, not to the chaos around me. not to the
Mm,
people around me again, because I will break, or I'm not doing it in a genuine way, and I will most likely cross the finish line in a much healthier, faster, better way if I listen to my body versus listening to the people around me.
mm-hmm.
And I bring that into my work all the time.
You do.
Yeah, all the time.
What kind of parallel do you make between you and your work and you in sports?
That we there are many of us working towards the same goals in many cases, and I am doing what I can do in my capacity in my role. And I often use the analogy of, especially when I have a team, is my job is to hand you the bottles of water, not
Mm,
to give you the pace of running. You run at your pace, and I'm here just to make sure you make it to the finish line and unblock whatever's in your way. And so I bring that, and now I'm like, we're tiny, tiny team, right?
mm-hmm.
We're building the next, um, and so I know there are many other organizations and companies internationally doing what we're trying to do, and so it's just to find what where we want to be. Again, I'm not in this for the I'm in this to make a change and make a difference and to share my experience. So where can I do that best and work with others to do that, to
Mm,
help lift others and make sure that we're working together.
mm. You said you were competitive.
Yeah.
How has that helped or not in what you do?
When I was younger, I actually quit a sport because there was a better player on the team than me.
Mm, really?
Yeah. And that was like something I wish I had a coach at the time who recognized that's what I had done. I didn't realize that's what I had done, but I think about that a lot about, I quit because I wasn't the best.
Mm,
And that's really damaging. I shouldn't, like, I can't go through life
yeah.
thinking like that. So I carry that with me a lot as well. That I am very competitive. I know where I won't compete, so I don't play board games with anyone because it stresses me. I get so competitive, and it's not worth it. My family won't play board games with me. Um, I mean, we're joking, but I really I get so like, okay, we gotta go. How it's helped is I will fight tooth and nail to get what we need. And I also joke I have a soapbox and I have one behind me, like I stand on, because I will, if I believe in it, I will, regardless of any barrier in the way, I will smash through it.
Mm. And where does that come from? Is it from sports? Is it innate, or where do you think it comes from?
I think it's probably innate. Passed on. I mean, my dad is super competitive, and when we were children and we'd be swimming in the pool, if I was 8 years old, it didn't matter. He was going to win because it
Mm,
was like for him. So I was like, no, 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 I'm going to win. So we that was in the family. Writing my book, I talk about my mother and my grandmother quite a bit, and my grandmother, there's an instant that I discovered in my research on her. She climbed through the Peruvian president's window at the
really?
palace, to make sure that she could get a law changed so that a young blind girl could access schooling.
Wow.
So I think I come by honestly, like my mum would say as well. It's just, I think I don't know. I hope that's something that I can pass on to the girls, is if
Hmm.
they, and it, with the values, is if there's something in the way that you think needs to be changed to help,
Hmm.
then you have to do what you can to make it
You do
happen.
it.
Hmm.
Mm. Balancing leadership and personal life is challenging. So
Hmm.
what strategies help you maintain that balance and stay at your peak? And what advice would you give to young leaders and young women aspiring to combine a career and their passion?
I was lucky again having my own shop. You know, I've had my own companies for the last 28 years. Um, when I worked at CBC, this was in the early 2000s, a long time ago, before, you know, being able to work from home and, you know, all this stuff. But I had asked for flex time, and I had three girls under the age of four at home, and I was traveling, and I realized I can't do this. You know, it's just there's so much going on at home, and I really, really wanted to be a present mom. So I asked for flex time, and it was declined. Structure at the time wasn't suited for
Mm,
that, or set up for that. So I quit, and that was probably the best decision because of who I am and what I'm like as a person. I've realized and I've learned over the time that I don't separate work and I don't separate family. I am me, and I do me everywhere.
mm,
Um, and I've been really fortunate. The girls and my nieces and nephew have been involved in everything I've worked at. They've volunteered. They've worked with me. They've even to this day, I have them involved learning and in my environment. So I work really hard. I work really hard at being a mom, and I work really hard at making a change. And one of those is provides an income, and the other one provides me immense amount of joy.
mm.
Well, and so does my work. I don't work 9 to 5.
So it's listening to yourself, listening to your needs, and creating that space that will make you successful.
Yeah. So yeah. So for the the younger, um, uh, entering into the workforce, I think being true to yourself. You have to listen to what type of person are you. Do you one of my daughters, for instance, is I think is will be best working in an environment where she has a job and a work, a nine to
Mm,
five and has tasks. And another one is like me, no structure, and will need to hire people who provide structure, but is completely different. So we're all different, and you really need to listen to you know what shape are you, and how
mm,
are you going to fit into those holes around. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly in conflict with,
mm,
whether it's your work or your home environment, and not feeling at peace and at
mm.
ease.
So you and I have known each other since about 2019, and you actually were the first to hire me when I launched my business.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that's who you are. You're someone who supports others, particularly women. And so,
Mhm.
how do you think the coaching or the support has helped you and your team achieve success?
Well, first, your support, and why I chose you or selected you is you're just really, really good at what you do, like
Oh, thank
excellent
you,
at what
thank
you
you.
do. and and you're really, really excellent at something I'm really bad at as well. So for me, you were just so key and so important to be part of the team at the time and the period I was going through. And also the trust, Danny, that I can't stress enough the important of
Hmm.
role of trust.
Hmm.
When that gets broken, it
Yeah.
can be destroying. Um, and I had complete 100% trust in you, and because you were supporting me and you were lifting me. And there have been times in my career where I have been extremely vulnerable, and there have been people that have used that as an opportunity to step on
Mm,
me to move themselves up, and there have been others who have rallied around me and lifted me up. And that's
mm,
where you met. So I we met. So very far from being perfect and being, uh, um, having all the answers. But I will say that I will never betray anyone, and I will always trust until there's a reason not to trust.
mhm,
Um, and the reason why I lift people up around me is because I know they're just really great at what they do. I don't feel threatened in any way, or I know what I'm good at. Yeah, I know, I know that. And if you're good at what I'm good at as well, then let's join together and like go,
Mhm.
go like rock the world even more.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I feel comfortable in after a
Yeah.
long time of what I can do and what I can't do. But I think lifting each other up and supporting each other, especially women, is so key. And then also important is making men feel comfortable and
Yeah.
vulnerable enough to know that it's okay
Mhm.
to to support and lift. They have a key role in making sure that women are entering into the environments that are not normally inviting to women. If they don't know how to do that well and maintain that
Mhm.
and are vulnerable enough to know that that needs to be done and that they don't know how to do it, then that's an area that I think we can offer support and help, but they
Mm.
need to be listening.
Well, I certainly hear a lot of humility in what you say. So now let's talk about the future.
Mm.
How do you think leadership education um, can evolve to better prepare the next generation in a, I'll say, tech-driven world or AI-driven world?
So this is a huge area of disruption on its way again. We are looking, if you look at the education systems, we're still educating and we still lead in many ways, the same way we did in the first industrial revolution, where it was very much top down,
Mm-hmm.
teacher, student, boss, employee. Um, that with is it needs to change, and it will be forced to change now with artificial intelligence. AI is able to do so much. There is, you know, I think about this a lot about, the people who have great memories, or the people who are able to do math so well.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't going to be a sign of intelligence with AI coming in to do these things. So what is shifting in the skills
Mm-hmm.
that we need to enter into the workforce? And it really comes down to those human skills, that curiosity, that vulnerability, that openness to explore and learn, and to tap into the critical thinking skills, the communication skills. There's a lot of talk about social and emotional learning, but really we need to be connecting as
Mm-hmm.
human to human, and understanding how AI is able to leverage and augment and help us as humans, but really we need to be nurturing that
Mm-hmm.
10% of what AI cannot do, of what a human being is, and a real leader will be looking at that as how can they strengthen their communication skills, their ability to connect with others, to share with others, to listen, active listening. How can they strengthen those skills? Because their employees, they will lose their employees. We have at the tip of our fingertips all of the knowledge in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and AI is able to synthesize it into
Mm-hmm.
whatever we want. So, the search engine is now the answer agent. And how are we using an answer engine to better our leadership, to
Mm-hmm.
lift up our employees, and to be really open to this incredible opportunity of disruption.
It's a very interesting perspective, and I don't know how to say it in English. It's almost like the machine or the technology as the knowledge, the savoir, but it's
Yeah.
all about savoir-être. How,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
for to being. So how do you
being,
learn to be,
yeah,
and as that, the word human being, but how are we being human,
yeah,
and
and
strengthening that.
the soft skills. It's very interesting,
Yeah.
and we're already at the point of wrapping up.
Oh gosh.
I like to leave people who are listening with a reflection.
Hmm.
So, what's one thing you'd like them to reflect on as when it comes to their own leadership? journey or purpose?
That I think the key would be to really, really listen to your surroundings. And there are signs everywhere that are telling us where to go next. And if you listen and you watch and then you trust yourself, you move forward. And you can't do it all alone. I have a network of women around me who literally, I mean, coming to the end of my book I submitted last, I had a flood of my, my posse just go, 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 go. And I'm like, oh, 3 a.m. still going. And that means everything to me because you can't do this alone.
So be connected to your surroundings and connect with people around you that lift you up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
And it's a very interesting journey. Congratulations on the amazing career and the positive impact that you continue to have on youth, on leaders, on women and organizations around the world. Thank you so much, Kate, for taking the time to talk with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Danny, for everything and for the opportunity. It's always great to chat.
And I can't wait to read your book.
A few months, February.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
Bye.
In this insightful conversation, Kate shared how her leadership and AI journey has been shaped by her love of literature, her connecting the dots, and listening to the signs in her environment. Her secret to success, curiosity and playfulness, knowing and staying true to herself, and creating her own opportunities. Driven by her competitiveness, she will fight for what she believes in, whether in leadership, life, or sports. Running, she explains, is her meditation. It has taught her to care for her needs, listen inward, and to find her own pace. Kate doesn't identify with traditional leadership definitions, saying it doesn't come naturally. Her leadership style is grounded in her willingness to venture into the unknown and lead others who are comfortable in that space. It's mainly about trusting her gut, respecting her values, and surrounding herself with strong, supportive people. In a world disrupted by AI, Kate sees a shift from technical, task-oriented skills to human-centric qualities. Leading, she believes, should focus on what AI cannot do: emotional intelligence, critical thinking, curiosity, and the ability to connect deeply with others. AI might provide the savoir, or the knowledge, but leadership is about savoir-être, the art of being human. Leaders will thrive by leveraging AI as a tool to enhance human potential while fostering environments where communication, vulnerability, and active listening drive progress. Her advice: pay attention to your surroundings and the signs. Stay true to yourself and build a supportive network of people who lift you up. As a leader, embrace this disruption as an opportunity to lead in ways that are distinctly human. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Peak Talent. If this conversation inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our goal is to bring you insightful conversations that shed new light on your journey in leadership while uncovering the contagious inspiration of surpassing yourself.